Hola, ¿cómo están amigos? Buenas tardes donde sean tardes, buenos días donde sean días y buenas noches donde sean noches. Aquí su amiga Lucy Santiago con mi queridísimo Robert Rosado, mi café con leche. We just want to say hi. This is Lucy Santiago and Robert Rosado from La Rouge Art, mi café con leche. Welcome to our show. Bienvenidos a nuestro show. Today, the show is going to be in English because our guests speak English. So, for those of you, most of us speak English. So, welcome. Thank you for being with us. It's really, really a pleasure. We're really, really happy to be here today. And I just give me a second because somebody's asking me how they can join us, and I just want to say, if you go to De La Mano con Lucy in Facebook, you'll be able to join us. So I just answered a question somebody that wrote to me internally. So
Also, La Rouge Art also is live. So is you a friend of mine, and you could go to my page in the Facebook, and you could be active with us.
exactly. So thank you so much. And I just want to say that this show is always retransmitted into YouTube. So those of you that are not able to join us, you'll be able to watch it again in YouTube. So thank you. We are really thrilled. We're very happy because we this is an interview that we've been waiting for a little bit to do. We I love this poet. Believe me, Silvia is wonderful. I got a hold of one of her books, In the House of Rain. This is the first book that I got from her. And believe me, I love this book. This is her second book, Gathering the Sunlight, and it's, oh, I can see it right there. And it's wonderful. It has so wonderful poems that really will touch your soul the way that they touch me. And like I said, I've been waiting for quite a few weeks for this to happen, and I am thrilled, so happy to have this interview today. I want to say hi to Waldi, my nephew, who's live with us. Hi, Waldi. Thank you for being with us. Dios te bendiga. But for now, let's welcome our guest, Silvia Scheibli. Please, let's give her a big applause and
One
welcome
applause.
her into our screen. We're really thrilled to have her. So help me welcome her into the screen. Hi, Silvia. How are you?
Hi,
Good
how are you?
afternoon or good evening where you are. It's only 4 o'clock here in San Diego and 7 where you are, but I'm so happy to be here. And I know I've also been waiting to have this interview and meet both of you on this in this venue on this format and talk about my new books. It's great to be here. It's actually an honor to be here. I'm very happy and appreciative of your invitation.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's our pleasure.
Yes, we're really thank you for you to take time out your precious time. You know, time is something so precious that when people are able to give us the gift or some of their time, we are so honored and thankful. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you
You're
so
giving us something that nobody can give you back.
and I feel the same way. I do.
So we really appreciate it. Well, Sylvia,
Well, Sylvia, now that you were speaking about San Diego, tell me a little bit of San Diego and all those places that you get all those wonderful inspiration.
inspirations that
Yeah,
inspire.
my husband and I love San Diego, especially, it has the ocean right here. But before that, I used to live in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, and I raised my two daughters there. and I loved living there. And my favorite song is "I Left My Heart in San Francisco."
Hmm.
So it goes. I go way back in California, and prior to that, I lived and studied at the University of Tampa in Florida with a lot of the friends that you already know as well. I know you've interviewed Alan Britt, and I don't know if you've interviewed Jose Rodero, but
He
He's been playing Escape for a while. We're gonna get him.
yeah, he's you have to pardon him because he's just a new grandfather.
yeah.
Just like a week ago, he became a grandfather, so he'll be busy for for a while.
Oh, please tell me about it.
Yeah, he's
Those grandkids can keep you busy. I have a one that is gonna be turning 3 months now on the four, and
mm,
she
Wow,
really keep me busy.
I
Yeah.
know. I have 5
oh,
grandchildren also,
congratulations.
and they all live in the Bay Area, San Jose area. My first grandchild is graduating from high school at
Oh,
in May this month, and so
wonderful.
she'll be attending Cal Poly next fall, and I'm very, very, very proud of her. Really am.
Good, good.
It's very
Congratulations.
exciting. I wish that they were more involved with my poetry, but they're so busy on their own living their lives that the poetry is not doesn't always come first, and that's just the way it is. But I want to let you know that I started writing when I was 8 years old,
Oh,
and not exactly the professional or the more mature rather poetry that one would expect from an 8-year old. But this came about when my father immigrated from Germany to Canada. And I had an aunt who was a businesswoman and had a shop a shop for some windows, glass,
Mhm.
installing glass. So she readily had typewriters in her office, and that's where she taught me how to type. And I typed letters to my dad, who was living in Toronto, Canada, at that young age. So that's how I got started into writing.
Mhm. So when you started writing those letters, it was like writing a story.
Yes, yes. And, it was just phrases and just this and that, whatever happened. And so he was a writer. And so he always wrote long letters back to me and my sister in Germany. So the our correspondence initiated my love for writing.
That's wonderful.
and your first experience at the 8 years old,
Yes.
what you was what was your inspiration? What were you writing about at that time?
Well, I wanted to connect with my dad.
Mm,
I missed him.
all right.
And before he left, he would read me bedtime stories. And so we had that connection, and I really missed that. So I wanted to keep it going.
You the elder one or you the
Yes,
youngest
yes,
one?
I'm the oldest one. My sister Angelica is 6 years younger than I am.
Oh wow, it's a little
So
different.
she was only 2 and didn't really know him very well when he left, but I did. And I think all my life I've valued family connection and the connection with friends.
Mhm.
And that began, the awareness of that began when I was 8. And it continued throughout. Finally, we joined him in Toronto, my sister and I, when I was 13, and I began to speak English and learn English and how to write in English and so on and so forth. And I've always been fascinated by the English vocabulary, which I don't know, it's one of the most motivating things to understand words and how they fit into your life.
Mhm.
So that's just a little bit of the background that I'd like you to know. And after going to high school in Toronto, close to Toronto, um, I went to University of Tampa in Florida,
Okay.
and this was in the late '60s.
Wow, what a change from Tampa, I mean from Toronto
To
to
Tampa.
Tampa.
What a
Now you fall in love with the sun. Uh, tell,
Exactly. That's
tell us
exactly what happened. Tampa
tell us
University
tell
in
us about it.
St. Petersburg, you know.
How
Uh,
was how was that experience in Tampa?
well, the I loved being in college and at university because I was surrounded by artists right away, friends who adored poetry and writing. And I had a wonderful professor, Dr. Dwayne Locke, who became the mentor of the group that Jose Rodero was part of and that Alan Britt is part of. Dwayne passed away 3 years ago, but we were all part of the same group. There was Steve Sloboda and Alan Britt, Paul Roth, Steve Barfield, um, and we have stayed friends all
wonderful.
this time, supporting us, ourselves, each one supporting us.
That's wonderful to have such a nice tight niche
Tiny, yes.
that support each other. That's wonderful.
Yeah, that has really helped. I don't know. I think we'd all be lost if, adrift without the core of the friendships. We worked, all of us worked together at the university for the UT Review, the University of Tampa Review, which was a poetry magazine that was edited by Dwayne Locke.
Oh, wonderful.
Those were the year of peace and love, I imagine.
Exactly. We were the flower children. Yeah.
Talk to us about that peace and love. You know
Love.
the the flowers, and the patch, and the
Yeah.
dungarees, the
And,
concerts, the
right.
free
And the
spirit of you.
revolution.
I want to know how was your free spirit.
Well, Tampa University was different than it is now. It was a very small university. Everybody knew everybody else. We had to live in the dorm. There were strict rules, but we did get to. One year we got together and we burned the yearbook.
Oh.
Yes,
Wow.
yes, and we were all like, "Oh my God, are they going to kick us out of school now?" No, no, nothing like that happened. But so we did have our chance to revolt.
Mm.
So
No, that's
that's a little bit about the background. And of course, I've been writing the whole time.
hmm
I mean,
hmm
ever since then. The, these latest books that you have become aware of are probably the my better ones. But when you go back through several of the other ones, you can see kind of how my interests have been in the same genre, I would say. The connectivity with people, the connectivity and the inspiration with nature.
hmm Yes,
That,
I can sense that in it when I was reading the poems. I can sense
That
the
energy.
nature, the energy of the nature is very present. It's and some of them is kind of raw. It's raw in there, and I
yes.
love it. That's what really attract
Mhm.
me.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. The latest book, this one,
Hmm.
Yeah.
Gathering sunlight.
right, Gathering Sunlight, is a collaborative effort. As you can see, there, Patty Dixon Piesca and I
Mm-hmm.
collaborated on this book. It's half mine and half hers,
Mm-hmm.
and it's an interesting story of how we worked together to bring this about.
Yes. How did you do that? Tell us
Oh,
about.
yeah, it's she and I have been aware of each other and our poetry and admired each other's creativity a great deal. And she's written a novel too, which I read. She's very prolific. And so we got together at the beginning of the pandemic.
Mm.
We have never met. We've Zoomed. She lives in Illinois, and I'm in San Diego right now. And this, so we got. I don't know. I think the pandemic, the scary part of the pandemic, um, the isolation, I think fostered us to become closer.
Yes.
And we talked about poetry and all our interests, and found out that we have a lot of things in common. And so this has been like since March of 2020, since the very beginning of the pandemic. So I think that we both shared our poems, the poems that I wrote about the pandemic, and her poems about how she felt about it. And so we would open ourselves up to a back and forth on a daily basis, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was kind of that pandemic. I think, I don't know exactly how to say this, but it was like a rejuvenation, a commitment of furthering our work. I think she felt the same way as I did about that. So one day I wrote a line about a blue color of a flower, and then she would write the next line, and then I would write the next line. So we would be writing our poems and sending them back and forth and to create one poem.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
wonderful.
And that's what
Interesting.
and that's what the title came from, Gathering Sunlight,
Gathering sunlight. Yeah, that we
by that
last
flower, right?
yeah, by the flowers. Yeah, that right. And we on that title, her part of the book is called
Just look in the middle.
the Beyond These Poems There Be Dragons.
Uh-huh.
That's her part.
Mm-hmm.
And then my part is Sky Islands,
Mm-hmm.
Sky Island poems.
Yeah.
So we didn't know what to call the book.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I
Uh-huh.
didn't, I wasn't, it couldn't be mine, it couldn't be hers altogether because this is a new thing. It's a collaboration.
Like they said, uh-huh.
And so we last October, I think we spent a month on trying to decide on a title.
It's a magnificent title.
You like it? I'm glad.
Yes, and furthermore, the artwork of Dr. Jose Rodeiro is
Jose
still,
Rodero, right.
yeah,
We-
is still
Wonderful.
the the deal right there, because to my understanding, in this picture right here, right,
Mhm.
I can see both of the two artists admiring the flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
And
did.
smelling the
Right.
flower, which is really wonderful. Talk to us about it.
Well, Patty and I were going back and forth on the title.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And we had the gathering, but we didn't have the sunlight. And so we put in many, many, many words and many different titles. And then I thought, oh, I'm going to give it a rest. I'm going to look at Jose Rodero's online art portfolio. And right away, on like the second page, he had this painting and it just snapped into place. I'm saying this needs to be the cover. Jose has come to the rescue. This needs to be the cover of our new book. This says it all.
Super, super, super. A big applause for all three of you. Wonderful. Because you have produced a magnificent piece.
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
and also Alan Britt gave you a great write up to both
Oh,
of you
oh
ladies.
yes.
Yes,
Yes, he did.
and can you explain to us how that felt when it comes from somebody
He's a long time.
so dearly, but when it comes to writing, he is so demanding.
He's wonderful. He is wonderful. He's so prolific, and I could not have been more happy with his write up of both the way he talked about both Patty and my poetry. And he's very, very generous with his time. When I have a question, I can call him, no problem, and he'll make a joke about it.
That's
Hmm.
wonderful.
Or he will, he always helps. He always does. He always knows exactly how to address that and support our work. He's very fond of our poetry. Also, Andrea Moorhead
Hmm.
Hmm.
is did a wonderful piece in that she clarified um, how how the book comes together for both of us.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yes, yes, we read about it, and I love the way that she put it together.
I
Very,
do too.
yes,
Hmm.
I
yes.
really do. And
And I can say that the pandemic, in many ways, it did shake all our worlds, because I feel that all of us changed,
it
and
did.
our world changed, and
Yes,
it brings so many things that we had silently sleeping in our souls,
exactly.
and I can see it in here. I can feel it
We
in
can
the end
sense it.
result that you
Mhm.
ladies put here.
Right.
You know.
I I believe, I truly believe it, that the isolation fostered a realization that all of us wanted to do what we could while we're here.
Yes. Yes.
Andrea and I became friends, and she invited me to become on her a member of her editorial board of the magazine Osiris.
Oh, wonderful! Great.
And
Mm.
she's
Congratulations.
she's published that since 1972 continuously, and so I admire her work tremendously and have a lot of respect for her. I admire everything about her, and it's fun to be part of the editorial board for Osiris. So that's something that came out of the pandemic as well.
Hmm.
That's wonderful.
Building friendships.
Hmm.
It's just the magic. Sometimes my mother used to say is saying, blessings sometimes come in disguise. And I
Hmm.
think
Yes,
the pandemic brought so many blessings to all of us. I mean, yes, it was traumatic. It was very difficult to see so many people suffered and go through what they went through. Like, I work in a hospital. I
oh
had,
really?
yeah, it was very difficult for my husband and myself, having to go to work. While everybody was home, we still had to work.
Yes,
And it was very difficult because we had to see firsthand what was going on. And but you know at the same time, uh because many of my activities came to a halt.
yes,
Like,
right.
I couldn't teach, I couldn't do a lot of things that I used to do, and everything came to a halt, to stop. So I was
Exactly.
only going to work and coming home, going to work and coming.
Mhm.
But in that, we find other venues. Like, I find myself doing many other things, and I when I read your book, I can see that it did this. It was not only me; it did for many other people.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
I think at some point we needed that to stop.
yeah, because I could say the musician, I think they started everything in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Once they started playing some kind of concert from the balcony, and then writers
Oh, I
like
think I saw that. I
uh,
saw I saw that concert from the balcony.
yeah,
Yes.
and there were others that were doing solo, but that just made the writer write more
Mm-hmm.
and create more because right now they home, even though they were sad of being home, but the creativity
You can stop
increased
it.
it, and there's so much beautiful
Things.
stuff written these
It's
days.
very intense.
Yes.
If you would, if you'd let me, I would like to read a
Yeah.
couple
Yes,
of
yes,
poems about
yes,
Yes,
the pandemic.
yes.
yes,
Yeah.
please be free. You could read few because I'm sure that our public would like to listen to it.
So okay, so here this is in the House of Rain,
Uh-huh.
What page?
66,
56.
66.
Oh, 66.
66, 66.
I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it right here.
So it's titled COVID-19.
Yes.
This pandemic admires the golden-edged black wings of the morning coat butterfly, its mascot, like no other. Refrigerated trucks in New York cut short our imminent realities. Voices of extinction betray hourly rallying cries for masking up. Anxiety tries to hold our hand from a 6 foot distance.
Hmm.
Yes. Oop. Give me chills.
Yeah, yes, thank you. So I wrote this one afternoon when I was watching this butterfly in my backyard, and I couldn't identify it, so I googled it, and the name of it is the morning coat. So it was so perfect to inspire me to describe the grieving process early on during the pandemic. And the isolation of that experience can really bring about a different vision of life, I think.
Hmm.
Totally. 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 I think uh in a way we all needed that because it was too fast of a pace that we were all going through. And and I think we all needed to have that stop to really rethink the values and everything. And like I said, it brought many talents that we had
I think
sleeping.
I think
Mhm.
we learn how to value one another
Yes.
Yes.
and how to value what we love
Mm-hmm.
of doing.
And the
And
connectivity.
you have become better. You
Yes.
Mhm.
have become better, even though we complain about something. No, the COVID took away. Yes, it did. Took away something,
Took
but
away
it did.
million people
Yes.
Well, many friends.
Man,
and friends,
yeah.
family.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the other one in the same book that I'd
Okay.
like
Okay.
to read on page 65.
Okay. Got it.
Pandemic Day 152. Cars in Los Angeles are burning. We might get a monsoon in Arizona. Pina coladas. Drink 'em fast or drink 'em slow, but drink 'em with a bamboo straw.
Mhm.
Greyhawks migrate north. Buildings in Minneapolis on fire. 5,000 more dead in America today.
Beautiful.
I,
Well,
I, I wanted to have a record of this one day when the news announced 5,000 more dead. And I wanted to put it, make a record of it.
yes, yes. Let me tell you, it gives me chills it gives me chills because I had to live through it, and
Yeah.
it was very difficult because I work in a children's hospital,
Oh my.
and if it's hard to see adults going through that, it was very difficult seeing the children.
Well,
Much more. Much more
my,
difficult.
my experience was different because you know that I spent 15 days in the hospital,
Oh,
and
you had it, COVID.
He had COVID.
Oh,
He had
and the
COVID.
thing is, I don't know how they sent me to the wrong ward, and I was right there with the people that was set to die in
oh,
the same floor, and you hear them screaming, calling names,
oh my God.
praying, and everything, and I say, "Oh my God, oh my God!" But I tried to uh, play
That must have
around
been a nightmare.
and this and that until a young lady told me, "You in the wrong place." She kept coming back. "You in the wrong place? What are you doing here?" And until she changed me and sent me to the third floor. And I said, "Oh my God,
Oh, what a relief.
that was hell." Did you
Yes.
hear that? People screaming with pain,
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that they have hours,
yeah,
and
that's
some of
horrible.
them couldn't breathe. It was
And nobody could visit them.
No.
no, no, no. You couldn't come into my where I was in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even in the third floor. No.
Yeah. We were. Yeah. We had to gowned up, um, double mask, double glove, everything. It was difficult for me. It was very shocking, and I will go hours, and I even developed a rash in my face because the mask.
Yeah.
Uh, it was unbearable,
Hmm.
but we had, we didn't have any other choice, and thank God I worked through it, and I can say thank God, you know we
Hmm.
I did not get
Not
COVID, neither did my husband, and I was nervous because right in the middle of the pandemic my husband had two heart attacks,
Oh my God.
and he ended up having a triple bypass,
Oh my God.
yes.
and I was not able to see him in the hospital. So
No, that's horrible. That
yes,
was a nightmare.
yes,
Mhm.
Yes, I was fortunate. My husband and I didn't have COVID till March, and now there's treatment, and everything is much more hopeful, much
yes,
much more hopeful.
yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. But let's continue our journey through your poems.
Also,
Yes, I gotta tell you, there's one that I love from this other book from that I love, and it's My Shoes on page 54.
Okay.
Oh
This-
my God,
oh,
I I love that poem.
oh, I'm so happy. You're the first one to say that.
Yes. Oh my God, it reminded me. Oh God, it brought so many memories to me.
Well, let's see.
And I have and I have some yellow shoes. I must
Oh,
tell
you
you.
do?
oh, you did.
Yes.
And
I
you connected, so we connected.
I connected. It connected
We
with
connected.
my yellow shoes that everybody hates, but I love.
Yeah,
That's
because I remember seeing the red shoes
and
when I was younger.
nobody likes this. This poem has never been published anywhere.
Really?
Except I put it in here on the last page and I said to myself, well, I'm putting it in here now.
Oh no, I love it. Well, maybe because I know Ecuador.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I know
Oh,
Ecuador. I've been to Ecuador,
oh,
and
okay.
I love Ecuador. I'm tell you, I mean, I have my favorite part. I love. There's a place called Imbabura, and
Where's that?
that is close to Quito. It's about 2 hours from
Okay.
Quito. It's in the
Okay.
mountains. Let me tell you, that is like paradise.
Is that close to? Oh, I can't remember the name. No, can't remember the name. But we were there in the Amazonas.
Yes, yes, that is as close to Cotacachi, Imbabura, Otavalo.
Oh, Otavalo.
Otavalo,
That's
yes,
it.
yes,
That's
it's
where
close.
we
Yes,
read in
yes,
the
it's close. It's
amphitheater.
in the
In
same,
the,
yes.
It's an area.
Otavalo is
Otavalo.
beautiful.
Oh,
That's
funny.
from Pablo Caviedes is from there.
Pablo.
Oh,
Pablo
wow.
was with you guys when you made the trip.
Yeah, when in August we had 2 weeks there, and that was the first place we read, and we were so impressed. They even set free a condor in
Yes,
that amphitheater, and we were just stunned. Alan and Steve and I, we were there. Hundreds came to hear us read. I mean, hundreds. It was
yes,
just fascinating.
yes.
So, this would you like me to read this?
Sure, yes,
Please.
yes, because
Okay.
I love it, and I'm glad that that you like that. I love it because I connected so much with it.
Yeah, I thought it showed a sense of humor. So, my shoes for Neruda's socks. In the blazing Ecuadorian sun, step by step, humidity curls my hair and begs for any sign of a breeze.
Uh-huh.
My yellow shoes, canvas, no match for cobblestones in Guayaquil, walk without complaint. They make no comment at the sight of street dogs asleep in the same spot each day by bloodshot day. They don't linger at store windows with chocolate pavlovas or cafe con leche at intimate tables for two.
Uh-huh.
They don't compare prices of chicken or pulled pork burritos with rice, pinto, or black beans at Los Carritos. They don't give a rip about what kind of ice cold cervezas guys had for lunch with their grilled cuy. Stepping lightly in Iguana Park, sudden long tongues and tails scurrying through tall grass, avoided at all costs, no problem. They don't even care about being stuck in airplane mode on the flight to Quito, sitting in the middle seat. A tad jealous, my canvas shoes cringe when a fancy new Panama hat is tipped with a smile.
Yes, yes.
Now,
It's so wonderful, and I tell you that it just you made me had a trip
It's right.
in my last trip to Ecuador. I went uh, from Guayaquil
Uh-huh.
to um, Ambato, from Ambato to Loja
Uh-huh.
to Vinces, back to Guayaquil. So
Wow.
it was like we went through all the
the
mountains.
region.
Yeah, all the mountains. Oh my God. And it's so beautiful.
It is a very beautiful country. I was so happy, grateful to be there. There was even a revolution in at the time we were there to meet the prime minister. We
Uh-huh.
couldn't even get near the palace because we couldn't park anywhere, and there were people all around carrying flags and protesting. But it was a very exciting time.
Yeah.
I-
Very exciting.
Sylvia,
Mm,
here in my notes, right?
yes.
I believe Alan Britt comment how well you connect with our Latin culture and Hispanic culture, the Maya, the Aztec, which have a strong influence in you.
Yes.
Why is that?
Okay, I'm glad you opened that topic because I have been influenced first in Temple University by Dwayne Locke, who taught me to take my poetry series serious, and started me to read Lorca and Neruda. And
Mm,
those two poets just blow you away. Subsequently, I took a trip through Mexico, ending in Mexico City, in Chapultepec Park, and climbing the pyramids, and just being so impressed because it is so different from my own culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just enamored. And ever since then, I started reading Mayan poetry, Aztec culture, um, eventually visiting South and Central America and Mexico. And so it's just come natural to me to learn more about those cultures because they're so fabulous and so colorful.
Mhm.
And I picked out a poem of how it kicked off. If I can just remember where it is, um, I think it's here. Oh, I wrote this in a previous book that I collaborated on with Alan called Parabola Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a short one, but I'd like you to hear it. It's on page 19. It's called En el Dia de los Muertos, Nogales, Sonora, Mexico. And this is the
Mm-hmm.
first time I went to that festival. Death sat on a chair at Pancho Villa's bar, sipping cappuccino kisses. Guests nodded in her direction as passers-by quickened their steps. En el Dia de los Muertos, in a low-cut gown, death was content at Pancho's.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Nice.
It is
And it
my,
is very, very
my,
Thoughtful.
true.
my turning to the culture and again being influenced by that festival.
Mm-hmm.
El Día de los
The Dia
Muertos
de los Muertos, yes,
Mhm.
yes, because that's a big festivity to for them.
for
For
Mexican.
yes, for Mexicans celebrated, but actually all Spanish
Mhm.
people
No, no,
celebrated because
November the 2nd, right?
in November 1st.
First.
Because I remember my grandmother, for my
Yes,
grandmother, the November 1st was very that was important to her because that was the day for all the dead, for all the for
To remember all
yeah,
the dead.
to remember all the dead. Yeah.
and the festival is so foreign to my culture in Germany or Canada or United States. When people take huge bunches of flowers, dried flowers, to their graves and go to the cemetery and go have music and meet with their ancestors and join and unite and connect in a joyful coming together.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really realizing that was a turning point for me in, opening my heart and intellect to that type of experience.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And that's what you read throughout in Gathering Sunlight. You know,
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I love the beauty of the bold culture of the hues. And that's why Joe Jose Rodero fits so well into his shamanistic and primordial and the hues and the shapes of all that. And that's why he's on all the covers of all my covers. I just love the life of that.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
He's ahead of his time. Uh,
Yeah.
can you speak to us about Duende and Federico Orca?
Yes. He's the
Because
one.
you
Yeah,
very much involved in this since.
he's the one who has that intensity and the passion and the fire that is inspired by, I think, the flamenco dancing also,
Mhm.
and the
Mm-hmm.
gypsy songs, and the intensity of that culture comes from Spain and it carries on in Central and South America. And even though I have a poem on page 24 here.
Okay.
What page?
24.
24. That would be Duende by the Sea of Cortez.
Uh-huh. Got it.
Hmm.
And it has the Mayan and the Aztec culture um, in it as well. I'm surrounded by sun-baked palm fronds and lime green iguana willows on a golden riverbank with bronze flower spikes. I hear orange-fronted parakeets with azure eyelids like islands in the sea screech near fire opal bromeliads. By the Sea of Cortez, where Mayans and Aztecs wrote their visions on black granite boulders and feathered fields, with pythons tangled in branches above pictographs, I sense the sacred language, delineating decades of struggles to work corn and bean fields, to free the earth and wear it like a terracotta poncho across heart and shoulders. Wearing the land like music on hands, hips, and legs, they treated the dirt like a dance, sharing days with barking dogs in the dust of the road, and greeted each morning like tropical kingbirds with an ancient screech at sunrise. Asleep in the cloud forest at night, death ignited their dreams of opalescent orchids whose beaks, like scarlet macaws, awoke the sleeper inside, the one full of pride in plain dirt, reborn and newly etched each morning.
Yes, beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful,
Beautiful.
beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sylvia,
The bold color, I want to come across with that bold color and that awareness.
Yes,
just
absolutely.
can you speak to us also about what Pablo Neruda meant to you and Karl Krolov? Did I pronounce
Oh,
that right?
Clara Orloff. Yeah.
Krolov.
Well,
No,
both
what they meant to you.
there's
As
so what they meant to
the poet.
me that when Neruda was an ambassador to France and he held other political high positions, I understood that a poet doesn't have to be hiding. Poets can be anything they want to be. They have time to devote their lives to other things. So personally, I always admired Neruda being so prolific and the people just being in love with all of his writings. And yet, he had other endeavors and he meant more than just the poetry. He had a job, he had employment, he had a family, he had a life to live. He had other hobbies. He loved the sea. He collected these sculptures that you find on boats.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was more than poetry. He was a 100% total human being.
Mm-hmm.
And I have grandchildren, I have children, I have daughters. I raise orchids. I'm a photographer and a birder. I mean, I'm more than just a writer in a tower. You know what I mean?
Yes,
I
yes.
have to experience life to feel fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yes.
glad I'm glad I can express myself in this fashion with the poems,
Mm-hmm.
but I also need connectivity. I need my spirit to be rejuvenated with nature. Um, I need, all of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Alan is saying here, Silvia knows duende. Sorry, that's not the question. Silvia knows duende. Okay, we got you, man. We got you.
Now, Sylvia,
I I think he means we've lived well.
uh, you also serve as a judge for the Ecuador in cultural exchange between USA and Ecuador in 2015, correct?
we recited our poems all over the country.
Okay.
And yeah,
How
we
was
had a
that
wonderful time.
experience for all of you? But basically for you yourself.
During that time, I really felt like I wanted to know more of the Spanish language because even though before going we were told, yeah, everybody speaks English, nobody did.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so we had a great translator, and I think she has all that. She translated everything I have in here. Um, but it was awkward, that we had to have a translator.
Mm.
Gina Lopez, she translated every single poem in here. Um, so personally, I enjoyed Ecuador very, very much because it was very inspirational. We were taken care of so well. We had a van which we drove all over to the University of Guayaquil, ended up there, then back to Quito in Mindo, which was a bird reserve, which was a special stop that they had made for me, knowing after knowing me and knowing how much I like birds. We spent an extra night there. And they were just like totally, the best hostesses ever.
Yeah, you love birds like me. I love birds, and I love orchids. I actually have
You
my
do.
that's my favorite flower, the orchids. Those
Oh,
are my favorite.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think the orchids are they are so beautiful flowers, and they have such a magnet, such a aura about them, and they're mystic.
and they're hard
And
to grow.
yes, tell me about it. I have mines, and you gotta be very. And when they don't like you, they don't like you. Yes, they
No,
yes.
there's nothing you can do to make them like you.
No, no,
Yes,
no.
yes,
They just
and
don't grow.
no, they are very particular flowers. They're very delicate, and there's
Uh,
it's
right.
mystic about them that I love. It's my favorite flower.
It,
The
it is mine too.
the
And
orchid.
I have one orchid since 1979.
Wow.
And it's a Zymbidium, grows outside, and it's grown everywhere I've moved. I've taken it with me.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I have one other book here that I
Yeah.
wanted to show you, and I'm going to send you a copy. And this was inspired. Actually, I had a big revelation about putting out. I hadn't published anything for like 10 years. The Parabolo Dream book was probably the last one. And then since in the last 3 years, I've had all three, the two that you know, and then this one.
Hmm.
And this is kind of right out of the blue. It has really nothing to do with culture or anything. It has to do with finding one's own spirituality
Hmm.
rather rather than taking a trip or the scenery or nature. It just popped into, I don't know where it came from. I don't. It's a mystery.
It's just inspiration.
It's just, I don't know where it came from. So it's called Leaves in the Shape of Water. And it's about Athena. It's called Conversations with Athena.
Athena. Okay.
Athena. So Athena stretched, tracing the stream's voice with her fingers, leaves in the shape of water on crystal sand. Her ankles sank into the quixotic riverbank where Phoebes wrote poems. Athena asked herself why lyrics seemed to write themselves like transparent silhouettes of minnows. She wished her verdant blood would mingle with silken shadows of jade cottonwoods.
Wow.
Great.
Super, super. Oh my God.
So we got One more question.
Oh, oh, oh.
Yeah, he got all the questions today. I let him do the questions today.
You you also serve as judge with the Beater on Leander Press
Oh,
Book Award.
the bitter oleander. Yeah.
Oleander, yes.
Well,
How you get to
how
be?
did I get there? Well, how did I get there? Paul Roth also was at the University of Tampa and a student of Dwayne Locke's. And he's part of the group with Alan and Jose and I and Steve Barfield. And he has been publishing the magazine, The Bitter Oleander, since 1974.
Wow.
Wow.
So he's also been a dear friend who supported us for forever.
Hmm.
In fact, my first book, The Moon Rises in the Rattlesnake's Mouth, is his first book that he published as the publisher in
Wow.
1974. Yeah, and he's in Syracuse, New York.
Oh,
He's
super. So he's nearby.
yeah,
Not that far from
Mhm.
yeah,
us.
he's been extremely supportive of the group. So every one of Dwayne Locke's students has kept his or her role in, supporting each other, one another, and writing and publishing. I myself had started a magazine in the early 80s called Cypress Review, and then I called it Cypress Books Press, and published several people of the group.
Hmm. We have somebody, Steven, saying here, Sylvia has totally inspired a new book I'll be putting out soon with Alan help also. Okay, wonderful.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Well, Steven, we invite you to give us the preview here. You're invited, my friend.
All right. Oh, he's going to love that. He's a
Yes.
music. Stephen is a musician, very supportive. He's coming out with a new book, and I tell you, not to beat a dead horse, but that pandemic has inspired and intensified and built our awareness of how important it is to get our work out.
Yeah,
Yes.
it built a lot of bridges amongst artists.
Yes.
Because I just got to get back to one comment that you make that it took you 10 years off from writing books.
Yeah.
Why? Why you take that long layoff?
Ah, at at one time it was very, very expensive to the printing process. And you had to have a run of thousands of books in order to get something going, to publish something.
Hmm.
Now you can get smaller amounts done, and that makes it easier
Mm-hmm.
on the publisher as well as the whole thing. It took 10 years from here to here. In that time, I was writing books and poems that appeared in here. And I'm very fond of rain. And it's so funny today when I was going through some of the stuff that I had written earlier. I have a lot of rain poems that did not even appear in here.
Oh my God.
Hmm.
Well,
There
there's
you
always
go.
chance for another book.
I know, I know, I know. Plus, when you're working as a teacher, it takes a lot of your time.
Yes, yes, yes. But we're looking forward to read more, to have more of your books. I mean, it's really, really a pleasure for us to be able to have these ones in our hand and to share with everybody. And most of all, we want people to have their copies. How they can get to these copies.
Yeah,
Can you?
well, okay, Amazon and Barnes and Noble, and
Oh,
from the publisher, of course. Yeah,
Super,
those
super.
three sources
And the publisher is
is
And you,
Peter.
they're Oleander Press for this one,
mm-hmm,
Okay.
and Barnes and Noble for this one,
mm-hmm.
and the Concrete Mist Press, and the editor and publisher Heath Brocker published this, and I forgot to mention his name. He was very instrumental in getting this out, which was just a total surprise to me. I
Super.
Yeah.
Now, Sylvia, but can they find all your books in Amazon? Can we find them all
Yes,
in
yes,
Amazon?
yes.
Super, super.
They're on Amazon. And if
Oh,
you can't find them, I should have one or two in my garage.
Okay.
yes. If you can't find it, just write to us and we connect you.
Okay.
Okay, okay.
Yes, no
Yeah.
problem.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
This is so wonderful. Believe it or not, the hour is almost gone.
Uh
Yes.
oh.
Yes,
It's AO2.
yes. You see, we start. It's 8:02. You see,
Oh,
we start talking and we go bam
uh-huh.
bam bam bam, and I told you before we know it's, oh my God, where did the time go? But it's a wonderful feeling because we have been talking and sharing all these wonderful stories and everything that inspire you, and
Yes.
and we are so thankful for that,
And
and happy to be able to have this experience with you.
It was delightful. Your questions were really good for me to hear.
thank you.
And this yellow shoes, I
Oh
don't
my
feel
God.
so bad about that poem now.
Oh, you see, you didn't know. And I have my yellow shoes. Believe me, I have a yellow shoes that everybody hates in my house. But
I
I
don't know.
I love them because I think that they are so attractive to me. And they are high heels.
Oh my, yes.
And I feel like I'm in top of the world every time that I wear my yellow shoes that nobody likes. They are, because I like the material. They are fabric. It's
Special.
not,
Oh, they're fabric. So
yeah,
are mine. Mine were canvas.
yes, yes. And I'm like, oh my God, I love these shoes. But nobody likes them in my house
No, because
because they're
you ladies
pointing.
are colorful.
Yeah, they're pointing in the corner, and every time that, in the front, and every time that I put them, my husband and my kids will look, are you putting all those ugly pointy shoes again? And I'm like, they're so comfortable. Oh my God.
Oh,
And
so,
and
so delightful. You two are so delightful. Thank you so
and
much.
Sylvia, I'm glad that you had a great time and you have inspired other poet and writers, musicians to do the same. And before you go, what's next for Sylvia?
Oh, I wish I knew. You never know when you sit down with your pen or your pad. You never know what's going to happen.
You,
That's a big splash. That's a big surprise. That makes it all worthwhile. You just don't know.
you
Yes, that's what I want to hear.
you doesn't know, because inspiration hits you at any time, correct?
Right. It could be at 2 in the morning. It could
Oh,
be 2 in the afternoon. I mean, could be for breakfast or after. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Sylvia, I got something that came to my mind. What's your position with that new law in Florida by that governor that
oh
is
God.
prohibiting
Oh,
some books?
DeSantis is horrible. It's horrible. I mean, I don't know where he comes from. It's
Neither
horrible.
do I.
I don't know.
Is this man real or
No, it's like a robot. Somebody winds him up and he spits out hellish chatter.
my question is that will be very hurtful for others like you guys, that you write a book and for some reason in Florida it's not allowed to enter that market.
Oh, it's banned. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's 451. Ray Bradbury. They're burning books. I didn't ever think it would get to that.
Yeah, I think that is the biggest sin, burning a book. What my take on that is, why you burn a book, okay? Everything is depending on the crystal that you read it. And a book might mean something to you or might mean something different to
Mhm.
somebody else. It depends on, it's a big component of how people interpret things, okay? So why are we going to be single this out and just out of the blue decide to just
Why
start
don't they
burning
just
books? And
ban guns? Why don't
you
they just
know
ban guns? Books
exactly.
have never hurt anybody.
But then in the other hand, we have, and this is just a high criticism that I'm going to say, we have TV, we have the radio, and other, we have social media that is
Mhm.
constantly bombarding us with things that really should be banned, which is sex, drugs, alcohol,
Mhm.
being
Not, yeah,
responsible and disrespectful,
yeah.
because that's what we are constantly getting bombarded with. So I think the priorities are not aligned correctly in,
No,
in
they're
here.
totally out of whack. Totally.
Yes, yes,
You could ban a mockingbird. Come on.
Hmm.
yeah,
Huh,
no, no,
Everybody read that book.
yeah.
Uh,
everybody. Right.
that's how I got to meet one of my favorite actor. Um, what's his name?
You forgot.
Yeah, yeah, the tall guy. I forgot his
The
name.
Germans are in his head. He's forgetting
No,
things.
I had in the tip of my tongue. Oh my
Oh my God.
God,
Gregory Peck played.
Gregory
Yeah,
Peck.
yeah.
Gregory
Oh, I
Peck.
love Gregory Peck.
Right. I
Yeah,
love the movie.
yeah. Even the killer was happened to be a great movie star later around. Oh, he was like 17 or 18 years old when he got that role.
Yeah,
Beautiful,
yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah.
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 I think that's where the priorities should go. Get priorities on it. Get your priorities in order and get things into order.
Right. That book, East
Don't
of
burn
Eden.
books.
East of Eden used to be one of my favorite books. East of Eden,
Yeah.
Steinbeck's. And then when they made the movie with James Dean,
Uh-huh.
oh,
Hmm.
cute.
Yes,
Hmm.
absolutely. Well, I also, in one of the things that I read, and they were saying that they wanted to prohibit
Oh my God.
because
Why?
they consider that is harassment.
Oh my God.
And I was like,
Oh, he
I,
was so funny.
are these people crazy?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're worse than crazy.
Yeah, I think they have to really get their priorities right. But in the meantime, we want you to read, people. Listen to me, my people. We want you to read this book, Gathering
Gathering.
Sunlight, and make sure that you get this one, In the House of Rain. Please, this is good. Read, read,
That,
read, read.
that's a beautiful title
Yes,
too.
we want you
Thank
to go
you.
to Amazon and get them. At the end of the show, when we put this show in YouTube, because it's, once we finish, we will download it and put it in our YouTube channel, De la
Uh-huh.
Mano con Lucy.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna leave you the link.
Good, 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 good. Please
It's
do.
yeah, so it's gonna be the link to the Amazon. So make sure you get them.
Okay.
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 And
Make sure
I
that
think this will be all for tonight.
yes, it's been wonderful. And Sylvia, I want to say this is your house. We're more
Oh, thank
we
you.
are so happy to have you anytime
Oh,
you want
wow.
to join us, anytime you have something new coming up,
Wow.
please let us know. We
Thank
invite
you.
them to also let us know. And it would be a wonderful thing if we can have uh, Patty Dixon
Oh,
too.
yes. Oh,
We,
yes. Yes.
if we
Sh-
can
Um,
connect with her,
I
I
can
would
speak
love,
for her. She'll be delighted. She'll be
yes,
delighted.
I would love to have her join us in one of these
She's
conversations.
she's
And
very prolific.
yes, yes.
Very prolific.
So any artist that is out there that is wants to be part of this uh, crew and this what we're doing for culture,
Mhm.
we
Yeah.
invite you. Also, I must say, I want to take the opportunity to say that Premio Arte Internacional is opening the nominations. That
Mm.
is um, we give awards to artists in the seven pillars of the arts, so
Wow.
of the fine arts. So the applications are open, so if you want to participate, you can go nominate yourself or nominate another artist.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
Yes, it's in you just go Premio Arte Internacional. I will also leave you guys the link at
Oh,
the
good. Uh-huh.
yes. So if you want to join,
You'll
just
be
yes, and I
feel
want,
free.
yes, feel free to do so. And I want to say that we charged only $10 registration fee, and that fee that you guys pay for that, it goes
Hmm.
to a program. It's gonna go to Art in Our World program that is
Excellent.
that is helping children to allow us to have this program of art for them. It is through organization Fundación Manos a la Ayuda. It's a non-profit organization, but this year
CO
we're
1503.
this year we're struggling with funds. So this year the board decided that the $10 collection fee, we were going to donate it to the organization, so our program of Art in Our World can continue for
I'll
the
be
children.
delighted. I will be delighted to contribute and
Thank
become
you.
part of member. I have
Yes,
really enjoyed conversing with you guys and
thank,
sharing my whatever I can do to
yes,
further.
Thank you.
thank you so much. And I want to thank all the people that have been with us. And I ask you to please share. You can go to YouTube and share, or you can stay in our
Mhm.
Facebook page and share. Just become a member. Just hit the little bell, and that way, every time we come up, you will see us.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Follow us.
Well,
Thank you so
okay.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Sylvia. Thank you. A big hug from here.
Stay with us, Sylvia.
Abrazos.
Thank you.
Stay with us, Sylvia.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Stay with
Yeah.
us, and you can say your last word to the people. And before you do that, I want to say, after Sylvia, I'm going to show you a little video which we normally do of what we do on the organization.
Thank you very much for having us. It's been having me. It's been an honor to be with you guys. Really appreciate it so much.
Thank you. Thank you. So until next time, next Tuesday, we will have another guest. And don't forget to connect with us on Thursday through
On Latina.
tuondalatina.com.
Uh-huh.
In our radio show, it's 8 to 10. We have all that beautiful music
Oh,
that you don't hear anymore. And we will be reading some poems. I have already some of these that I
Latin,
want to read.
romantic Latin song.
It's romantic Latin music. So
okay.
thank you.
Very good. Very good.
See you guys.
Bye. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Hasta luego.